January 15th meeting of the Belchertown Economic Development and Industrial Corporation Board to order at 7 p.m. Present here in the room, Beth Maroney, Bob Rivard, Jonathan Spiegel, Bill Terry, Kirk Stevens, Doug Albertson, Steve Williams, and for BCTV, Pat Barry. And online we have
Jenkins, Rich Cook, Rich Kingston.
Did you all hear that?
That's it.
Okay, great. We've circulated a pretty extensive agenda, and we will likely have an executive session if appropriate, and we think it is going to be appropriate. The board will move to executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 2.1, Subsection 6 of the Open Meeting Law, to discuss or negotiate terms and conditions of pending proposals. The board will not resume the regular meeting at the conclusion of the executive session, and every vote will be a roll call vote. Okay, first on our agenda is minutes and additions to the agenda. We have minutes that have been circulated by our Secretary, Bob Rivard. Are there any changes or suggestions on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Kirk seconds. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Rich?
Abstain.
So we have 501. Rich was not present for the last meeting. Next on the
I
agenda.
was not in attendance, so I abstained.
Yes, okay. We got you there. Payables and other financial matters. Do we have any payables this month, Kurt?
No, I don't.
I do.
Okay, Beth.
So we have our directors and liabilities insurance, which they need to check tomorrow, so someone's gonna have to bring it to them tomorrow.
I can do that.
Okay, so I have the bill for $2,635, which is our directors and offers liability policy to cover us through from 1/23/25 to 1/23/26. This needs to be signed. I'm not sure if I can or if Bill needs to sign it.
Well, I'll say.
I'll pass this down. And that's all I have.
What was the number?
2,635.
Any questions about that bill? It's our standard traditional annual, right, Beth?
Yes.
Okay.
Move to pay that invoice.
Pardon?
Second. He made a motion to pay the invoice.
Is there a second?
Second.
Bill Terry seconds. All in favor of paying the director's liability insurance
Aye.
amount of,
2,635.
we have one yes. Do we have any other yeses?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. 601.
Yes.
Do you have the checkbook or we'll need to get it after?
We'll get it after.
Okay.
Get it after. Okay. Other financial matters. How do things stand for us, Beth?
Our balance as of 12/31/24 is $16,793.24. So obviously this will be coming out of that. I know I have to get the budget to Jay,
Richard, and yeah.
but it's going to be a few weeks before I can get to that. I'm kind of buried right now, so.
Okay. And from communication that we had from Richard Kingston, that's also pretty consistent with his timeline to work with you on that.
Yeah.
So that sounds,
I think it was March last year.
could be, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so you will continue to work with
Yeah.
Richard, I guess, on that?
Yeah. I don't really anticipate any deviations from our last year's budget. I don't think we have any additional expenses. Anybody could think of anything other than our typical? I can't really.
The Cancun trip?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
So if anybody in the meantime thinks of anything that, other than our typical brush hogging and insurance and security,
Right,
um,
Right.
let me know.
okay.
And
Okay.
I will add it.
Yeah, okay, so, and then, Robert Jenkins has, always, reminded us that if something does come up beyond the budget that's already budgeted for, we should get a number and make a case for that, and Mass Development will do this. We'll take a look and see what they can do to help, with that. Is that right? Thank you. Can you clarify for us, is it, Richard Kingston is going to be the budget liaison going forward?
Richard Kingston is your project manager.
Okay.
Similar when you had Jennifer and then you had me, now it's going to be Richard. He is
Okay.
your project manager. So any correspondence, anything needs to be done should go through him. I know you're used to going through me, but you should go through Richard. All right?
Fine.
Okay. So you've been paroled, huh?
I don't know. They just given me more duties. You know?
Yeah,
That's the way
that's
it
right.
works.
So, Richard, then, we will, Beth will work with you on the budget and other financial matters, correct?
Sounds good, yep.
Okay.
Should I still include Shay on the emails?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. Development status. We've got a lot of pieces to this puzzle this month for development status. And let's see, we've got, I sent around an expanded version. Anybody wants to, needs a copy of that, didn't get one.
I'll take one. Please come.
Good to see you over there. We communicated with Richard.
Oh.
We communicated with Richard Jenkins and received information that the other financial reporting that we were looking for, sources and uses, and the amount of the dispersed funds utilized by Mass Development to date. That's a work in progress. Is that right, Richard?
Yeah, that's correct. The only thing we need to clarify to put part to bed is it on a fiscal year or a calendar year?
Yeah, they're different ones, yeah. We need
So
to,
if you guys can get back to us and let us know that would be great.
Oh, our fiscal year, you mean is our budget is
Right.
a fiscal year our fiscal year end is 6/30, is that what you were wondering?
Yep, so you're July 1. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
That's perfect.
but more importantly, the total obligated to date for the BDIC is critical for our discussion about the point of renewal discussion for our MOA and the town's MOA with Mass Development. So this budget review has to come, this sources and uses has to come before we can really get into that potential MOU renewal or whatever's going to happen.
Our accountant usually asks for that also.
Yeah, I mean, our MOU states a quarterly report from Mass Development, but it doesn't happen that frequently. So, Richard indicated in his email that he's working that up. Is that right, Richard?
Yeah, that's correct. I just want to make sure you got the notes and wasn't sure, make sure we could connect. I mean, I think we confirmed the fiscal year side. Yeah, and I think our question is there that much data that requires us to send a report quarterly, or can we do it biannually? Can we do it annually?
Yeah, I think
You know,
annually would be
it's a big reconciliation process.
I think annually at least, so we can provide that information to our accountant when he's doing our financials. He typically is looking for that, so I think annually would be sufficient.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, the quarterly statement that's in the MOU is a reflection of a much earlier set of ruffled feathers a long time ago. So it's a nice way to put it on. And so I think annual is fine. However, for the discussion we intend to have about the renewal of the MOU, I believe it's an important piece to understand what our obligation is and what the town's obligation is to mass development. So in this instance, I think we need to have whatever the date, the number is as of the date of that conversation.
When is the expiration of the MOU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Robert,
this
the
year?
MOU expires.
November of this year?
November of this year. And we agree. I think we just want to, I think the question on the dates itself are important. So we want to finish the reconciliation to get you a draft. And then again, we're going to be approaching the end of your fiscal year again very quickly. So we'll make sure we have that information on time to your CPA as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Development status next. We're going to start that with Doug Alderson, town planner, talking about ideas for the remainder. What is that parcel name? I'm calling it Crispers, but that's not the. What is it? F or
Crispies.
Parcel B, isn't it?
B?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
Parcel B.
Yep.
It's that long sliver of land that the
Sliver, yeah.
little restaurant Crispers sits on, part of, that runs along Route 202. The remainder from the intersection with Route 21 to where the courthouse is, at the end of the property.
It's right across from the street light, from this.
Right.
And the traffic signal, and
Traffic.
yeah, it goes down to in front of the courthouse.
So I asked Doug if he would put some thinking into how that piece might be used, so we could consider that and maybe move it towards a course of action.
Oh, all right, so you can pass these around. William can get one.
I can share them here.
Yeah, we got some.
Jonathan, real quick, I just want to make sure we're clear. You said parcel D is in David,
B as in boy.
B is in boy. Okay, I apologize. I thought you were referring to parcel D
That'll be a little later.
that you're working on the.
No.
Right,
Okay,
so
got it.
the
Parcel D.
yeah, so the big page here, and sorry I can't pass them out to you guys, but the first page here is a survey plan. It was actually the plan that cut out the parcel that was Almeida's and now is Crispy's, and shows the remainder, parcel B, towards the left.
So is A Crispies?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so you can see on the Crispy parcel, there is a easement. That is the trail easement for the trail that was there before we built the Sensory Trail. The Sensory Trail now does not go inside that easement very much, and it cuts down to the bottom. So we need to change that, and then where the trail wants to go across your property, which if you go to page 2, which is this brilliant map that I superimposed the parcels onto, you can see the trail as it is on that map. So it's a rough walking path, very informal, and eventually end up walking along the edge of the street because it drops right down at the west end of your property. And then the next picture, which is a little tougher to see, shows a possible rerouted trail a little farther away from the road, farther away from the existing business.
So where you have that number 11 there?
Yeah, that would be the proposed reroute. And
Just a question for Richard and Robert. Do you have access to our assessor's maps from where you are? I can give you the reference if you want to look at these.
good point.
Actually, if you can give me the number, I can look it up. Because you can give me the parcel ID. My challenge here with this is I'm not sure if this is included in our memorandum of agreement with the town or the BRISA. I'd have to look at our MOA.
It may not be.
I don't think it is.
The reference to Parcel B is actually the surveyor's reference, so it's not anything relevant to what you would recognize. So it's Assessor's Map 250. I left my reading glasses in my office, but I believe it's lot 56.
It might be an 8. It's either an 8 or a 6.
Who's got reading glasses?
I do. So I can't tell.
250, 56 or 8.
Yeah.
8, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an 8.
All right, well, the consensus is 58. Map 250, lot 58.
Guess we need younger people in this. Yeah, so, but yeah, I don't think mass development is involved with these, but,
I don't either.
because it's just frontage lots. So, that is the trail part of it, and, that can still be changed, but we're applying for a Mass Trails grant to do this. And the idea then would be to link it with the snowmobile trail on the backside of Lake Wallace and then back to Foley Field. The other part then is in terms of building area, you have this one little level area up here, but with the wetland buffers, I'm not
Which
sure.
is what? These little lines here?
That's
Where the writing is.
yeah, where the screw is, and then
Like,
so yeah, that was at the wetland as of whenever this was done in 2012. So, I really still think you'd want to have somebody go out there and look at the wetlands and see how much area you actually have to develop. I've been speaking with Crispy's Phyllis, who represents the owner. She's like the mother of the owner or something. And she has expressed an interest in Parcel B for expanding their parking. And they wouldn't need much, but that would
Well-
wipe out your building area.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, up against their line is the most valuable part of that parcel.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So they're kind of hemmed in. I mean, something might be able to work out with a future owner of that to share parking,
Yeah, ideally.
yeah.
what would be even possible there?
So
From what I've walked it quite a bit, and it's no worse than Crispy's.
Lot?
Yeah, as far as what I could consider buildable or usable area.
Actually, if you imagine taking the Crispy's lot and just flipping it right over,
Yeah,
it's almost identical in size to that other unused portion.
correct.
there was if you recall, Jonathan, I think I provided you a copy of a plan that the McDermott group had prepared for that lot, and it showed some potential build out there. I don't know where that went. Did I send that to you too, Kirk?
I've never seen that, no.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find another copy of it.
And send it to Doug also. So, and I think the wetlands delineation is critical also.
Yep.
So our choice is, do we hold it for another 30 years and hope somebody could imagine making use of it?
Well, I guess that was my question. So would it be worthwhile to sell them a piece of it, make some money, let them have some parking, and then donate the rest? Could you do parking for the trail there?
Yeah. Good.
There's still enough there, because it goes a long ways,
Because that's
For
sort of a
doing
struggle, right?
parking
for the
even
trail.
beyond.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, right now we're building parking up at Foley Field, and there's some in front of Townsville, but that's a possibility too, but certainly,
Parking is lacking.
yeah. Certainly.
And then there's one other thing to plug in, whether or not it's gonna be feasible, because there's a cost to it. But when Steve redid that intersection, he allowed for an entrance exit from the parcel we're talking about directly across, right? And it just needs to be, the circuit needs to be done, the lights have to be changed, there's an expense to that.
Yeah, signal heads would have to be changed, or, there'd have to be some sort of detection put in, but
Right.
otherwise it was set up for.
Yeah, not huge probably, it needs a pole on that side, but it would actually make more use of that parcel safer because of the nature of that particular curve, entrance, etc. It's not the best place in the world to enter the highway. So let's keep that in mind, because if in fact we don't put a business there, or even if we do, having a joint exit entrance from there might be something we apply for a grant with, or if it's going to be just an expansion of Crispers, they may wish to Crispy, change their entrance to that point.
Yeah.
To make it safer, and we'd look for a grant. Or even if there's going to be parking for the trails, same thing.
Yeah.
So it could be, it's just another feature to keep in mind as we consider all of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we would just need to figure out where, the immediate thing is figuring out where we can
Yeah,
put the trail and not interfere with what you wanna do.
okay. So what's the next steps? Who does what?
I think you need to get a wetland consultant, and I think I'm gonna proceed and, apply for a grant. The guy who's building, a contractor who's building the sensory trail, has provided these maps. I embellished them with the parcels. And he's given us an estimate for the job. And the two expensive pieces are to build bridges over those two wetlands where everything just kind of flops into the ground for the snowmobiles. But
Okay, so
that's off your property. But anyway, yeah. So
we need to get a wetland, that's the Conservation Commission,
well,
or
yeah. I mean, Sarah or Stephanie can go out and look and tell you what the rules are, but they're probably not going to actually flag the thing for you.
so what do we do?
Well, ask Sarah and Stephanie what to do if you want. I can do that too.
Why don't you keep your hands on the whole thing? So it's all in one,
Yeah. That's what we'll do.
Obviously,
Great.
Heather Comey is used quite extensively as a wetlands expert. I've used her quite a bit.
Okay,
But,
great.
there's an expense to that.
All right, so this is gonna move forward with the plan for the trails, the wetland review, and movement of the easement on Crispy's property. Right?
Yes.
Whatever we have to do for that.
Right. So if
That's a recorded deed, easement, so, recorded easement.
yeah, for the Crispy's thing, yeah, that's part of what we need to do is adjust that easement.
Right.
And-
Especially if you're gonna build a trail, then it's,
Yeah, that's not
Right.
on, yeah, and so what, actually the thought was, that if we could get the part of their property they don't need,
mm-hmm,
and you pretty much keep the trail on it without having to get an easement. And so for your parcel B, as we'll
Mhm.
call it, would be the same idea, just figuring out where your building area would be, and then we could, maybe peel off the rest and add it to the Lake
okay,
Wallace.
well, we need the wetland delineation first. And Steve, if you could recirculate, to Kirk and Doug and Bill, what you referred to earlier about an interest.
Yeah, see if I can find it. That was quite a while ago. But I know-
But it may have an idea in there that we
But
have.
that was probably before Crispy's, right?
I don't know. Probably, but I think it showed some differences there.
Okay.
I'll dig it up. I'll try
Thank
to
you.
dig it up. Yeah.
All right.
All right, next.
Any other ideas on this, anybody? Thank you, Doug.
You're very welcome.
Very nice. Let's see, Parcel D, we're gonna do it a little bit later. marketing efforts is the next, marketing efforts. So, Richard, do you have something on our real estate marketing? Are they marketing?
Sure. Yeah, I think just a reminder that, you know, there hasn't been marketing efforts to date just due to the electrical needs for the site and some previous issues regarding developers wanting to pursue sites but not having the electric. So I think tomorrow, you know, we have job meetings to kick off the demo of the power plant and the installation of the pressure reducing valve, which, you know, and we do have a commitment from National Grid to pull power once that vault is installed. So we're going to be reaching out to the broker here in the next week or so to really kick off the marketing efforts of those industrial lots.
So,
Hopefully here, you know,
Marketing.
we
good.
can be able to provide a little bit of marketing info by next month.
Okay, good. But we have not engaged them to market, the parcel on Route 202, have we? Where their sign is?
Parcel F?
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of.
They've
Is
got
that correct, Robert?
No, that is part of their contract. That is within their contract, Parcel F.
It is, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Their contract, they haven't started marketing it though, have
They
they?
haven't started any of those properties due to the fact that the industrial road, as Richard has indicated, National Grid is still to provide us with a schedule just on when they're going to pull the power. And I think it does have to do with the vault being installed, so more to come on that probably after tomorrow.
And you need to guide us on what we do with a previous expression of interest for that parcel. Because we had one.
If you wanna send it over to us, we're happy to work through the broker and make sure it's followed up on.
Work through the broker, okay. We may talk about that in our executive.
Please send it to us and we'll correspond with the broker.
Okay,
Who is the previous interest? You don't mind me asking? I know there was someone before, but they kind of, I think Mike was working with them and then they didn't have an interest. Who are you referring to, Jonathan?
I don't know, am I able to,
That's what.
huh?
Is it the one we're talking about now?
Yeah,
That's probably executive session, I would think.
yeah, I can't, we're not at the stage where we should make that public, but we can, we've got an executive session planned right after this, and you're welcome to join us for that so that we can discuss that.
And, yeah, excellent.
All right.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it does have a trail that goes back before we hired the broker, but we'll discuss that. Okay.
Great.
BRISA update. So here we are. Who's B and C over there? Can you read?
Yeah,
That's
BCTV
just
is
our
us.
phone,
And D
and
is
D is Pat, I believe.
Yep, BCTV and
Okay.
our telephone. Yep.
And C is blinking.
Us. That's us, that's the phone.
So we don't have Hamid here.
Right.
No.
We
What, was
don't
he
have
supposed to be?
Hamid here.
Correct.
He said he was going to be joining you for.
Or Andy.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And does Mass Development have anything to share with us in an update fashion relative to BRISA?
Sure, I think, you know, the Christmas and New Year's some delayed. We've re-engaged with BRISA and, you know, we have an expectation that they'll be providing more clarity and information for the next meeting. And also should be in attendance.
Yeah, given his commitment to be in attendance.
Yeah.
We also wanted to discuss, and if you could provide for us sooner rather than later, but certainly before the next meeting, in time to have it in hand for the meeting. What are the milestones in our agreements with BRISA? The dates and the triggers certainly phase one, but also for the other phases. Just a listing of it.
Sure, yeah.
The board has been interested in reviewing that. So,
Yeah, no problem. We have that
yeah,
updated with the addendums to his agreement as well.
right. Okay, thank you. Well, that was a lot quicker than I thought.
Power plant.
Yes, who, anybody?
Yep.
Next, power plant removal project. You're having your start meeting tomorrow, and Kendall will be out here for that. Just a reminder, Kirk, you planning
Yeah.
to attend that, right?
Right, I'm gonna meet him at the rec department, set up a couple tables and chairs and stuff, but.
Who was it awarded to? Was it awarded?
American Environmental,
American.
out of Holyoke. I don't know about the pressure release valve, who got that award. But
That
I'll
was
find out.
for Riccardi Brothers.
Okay, yeah, I recognize that now, yeah.
So, one of the things that should be on the table tomorrow with the initial meeting is how do we interface that project with the public? In particular, if they have a notion already about if in their plan is their removal plan for the smokestack in particular. How do we, that may be of particular interest to the public. And so, pardon?
Why do you think that?
It's been a visual marker for the state school for 30 miles around for 100 years, and it also will be wonderful to be able to demonstrate that it's no longer there when it's no longer there because it's been a tremendous attractive nuisance to young fools who insist on climbing into it and poisoning their bodies.
The vultures and ravens like to perch on top of it.
And they do.
Yes.
Yes, we'll have to make apologies for that. It's just another way of showing progress on the part of the EDIC and mass development in the project.
Yep.
But also, rather than have unmanaged hordes showing up for it, better to manage it and have the right story going out with it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I agree with that. I think it's important because people will notice it and say, "What are they doing?"
Right.
And they hate change. People hate change, and so you got
Not
to try
that
to
there's
manage.
ever-
Secret, they didn't tell us.
Yeah.
Of course, there's never any misinformation.
No. Maybe we
I
can
think
sell
one
bricks.
comment to that though is that we have issued a notice to proceed for the demo of that project, so, if to pause work for
Don't want to do that.
any kind of public related issues, I think we're almost a little late for that.
I just think you should they should let people know that this is coming. Somebody's bound to complain.
Yeah, we're certainly not gonna stall this project for public relations, but we do have a
Right.
communications manager now, and I'm sure she'd like to be able to get some pictures from a distance and kind of keep people up to date on Facebook on what's going on. I don't know what their plan is for the demo of the stack, but if they're gonna try to use explosives and bring it down into a pile, there's probably gonna wanna be people that wanna watch from a safe distance. If they're just gonna take it down with pry bars and a crane, that's a different
Right.
thing. So,
That's
yeah,
probably,
I think to Jonathan's point, people seeing progress is good for PR. But we're not gonna delay or interfere with American Environmental's work. That's not acceptable.
Right, that's not the purpose. Let's just assume they'll set a safe
And we can
route.
get more clarity on exactly how they're gonna tackle that tomorrow, so if, Kurt, whatever questions that the
Right.
board has, or timelines, or any communication person wants to be involved, I mean, there's no secrets in that meeting, it'd be great to have them involved, so they can you know, if they wanna do some pictures, they wanna put it on Facebook, if they even wanna take a picture of the job meeting and post that, I think that might be a good start.
Sure.
Okay,
Well, as much as I wanted them to blow out the base and topple it, I was told that that wasn't gonna happen. That they were gonna just,
Yeah.
reach up, I
No,
guess.
no
No
explosives
fun.
involved.
No fun.
No fun.
Tie it to your tractor.
I know.
All right.
We're gonna sell tickets.
sell the bricks.
Another timeline, so let's.
All right, so you'll come back with information for us, Kirk
Yep.
and Steve, and police and fire probably. It would be good to make sure that in their plan, they have a means for establishing a safe perimeter,
Right.
and that may become even greater nuisance of interest to people as it starts to come down. You never know.
Well, I think if we can confirm that they're not gonna use explosives on the stack, then we should get that out on our
Right.
social media posts, so people don't think that they're gonna be showing up to watch a building being raised. You know.
Right, but we certainly don't want a crane in place for somebody to climb.
Right, that too.
That's true, so.
Well,
just-
they'll fence off a wide area there.
They gotta do
Probably
what
the
they gotta
entire,
do.
And we know that our friends in the night can go through concrete,
Well, that's-
stones,
that's anywhere.
plywood, and fences. So make sure
Right.
it seems like a safe perimeter.
yes.
Unless, well, you're gonna deliver the check for our insurance tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving right along.
Yes.
That director's insurance paid.
Parcel D. Kirk, you wanna give us an update where that stands, Parcel D?
Yeah, they've pretty much, done all the groundwork they, need to do at this point. It's been surveyed, they are just putting the finishing touches on the actual survey. They did a lot of hole drilling to, get the underground terrain of the site, if you will. And, they are compiling it at this point, and shortly will contact us with, their finished product and where they anticipate the, roadway path to be, and for us to get together and discuss it. You know, it sounds like they're planning to make some kind of presentation to us with all of that,
Excellent.
and kind of spread out the map and go, well, this is what we're looking at and what we think will work. So, yeah, so she said she would, let me know as soon as anything is available on paper, and to, set that up.
So this is a grant we received from the, One Stop for site utilization study.
Correct.
And the end product is a report that puts ideas on paper for what the shape might be of utilization, and kinds of uses that might be good on that piece of land.
Mhm.
So we'll have more to work with in terms of getting out to potential customers with that report.
Right.
That's the purpose.
Right.
Wonderful.
Now, I know, I talked briefly with Kevin and with Williams and with Roland DeWitt as to the water and sewer and all that. And it's kind of like, well, it's going to be tight, it's going to be difficult, but we can probably pull it off. So,
Was Kevin interested in putting a well back beyond the new rectangle?
he didn't have any new information on that at the time that we spoke. I don't know if there's been any discussion with Steve at all about that. But
Kevin Williams, for the record, director of the water department.
So I do know that there's several locations under consideration, and that is still one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Great. Okay, Kirk, thank you. Any other questions, anybody? Parcel D?
Is this to go to town meeting, to join the Parcel D? A piece from the back of the school property?
I don't believe it's going to have to, because it's a low-value property. The select board is authorized to make transfers, and I think it's under 25,000.
I would think so, yeah.
When will that happen, Steve?
Well, I guess, first thing we need is an A&R plan. The planning board's gonna have to approve the new lot line.
So that comes after the report?
Yeah, so it'll be after that, yeah. We'll have to split the land, and then, the select board can vote to transfer.
Okay. All right, moving right along. I think we covered all of the update information. What about security, sir?
Nothing new at this point. I think he did one, resecuring, if you will, actually before the last meeting, but never billed us. It didn't take him long, so it wasn't much, so we'll probably go with, anything that he has to do in the future. I told him about a small opening that was made in an area that he had resecured on the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big question was, well, when are they gonna start tearing it apart? So I'll find that out tomorrow. But, it was a small opening that was cut in an area where he had already resecured, but there was framing behind it, so I don't think they can even access through there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that will be a non-issue in the short term.
Okay. Anything else? We had the review of the MOA with Mass Development, but we're going to push that down the road a meeting or two, but not too many, please, Richard, okay? Just so we could get started.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, just understand, we have a new president that just came in at the first of the year as well, so,
Right.
we're trying to gradually get a lot of this work into the mix.
Yeah. Okay. Members' time. Let's go around. Beth?
Nothing?
Bob?
All set?
Bill?
All set.
Kirk? Rich?
No, that's fine.
Rich, you good?
Nope. Yeah, just trying to catch up. Missed a couple of sessions there, but excellent minutes once again. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to put on the table the idea that we have a sliver of wetland along the boundary with the railroad tracks, or the former railroad track, where the trestle used to be. And I'm gonna ask if Doug could bring to us an idea for how that might be included either in the trails or the greenway or both, and to what extent we might parcel over land for that purpose, or reserve land for that purpose, because there's a wetland section that could contain a trail.
Right, that's between,
It's right at the bottom of Jackson Street.
yeah, between
Yeah.
Jackson Street and
Goes up and around behind the industrial.
towards the railroad, but
Yeah.
on the opposite side of
Yeah,
the
it'd be the east side,
Yeah,
yeah.
east side, yeah.
Yeah, where it curves around
I
and
got it.
kind of comes down.
And it goes back in behind those cruciforms
Yeah.
to a swampy area.
Right, way back there, yeah.
And not for tonight, but in the future, that may be something we should consider. Thank you, Doug. Okay, then there's no others. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion to go to executive session.
I'll make the motion to go to executive session and not return to the meeting.
Okay,
I'll second that.
seconded by Kirk. We have to do a roll call vote here. So, Rich?
Yes, were there separate login credentials
Yes, I'm gonna
for
send them.
executive? I didn't see an email come out.
I'm
You
going-
did send them,
I'm
okay.
gonna send
So I
them.
have-
I'm gonna send them to your email and to Robert and Richard, right now. So, do you vote yes?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, he said yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Yes.
Bob?
Yes,
Jonathan, yes? Bill, yes? Kirk?
Yes.
Okay, we are in executive session. And, Doug and Steve can stay, but I'm sorry.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Alright, so I'm gonna put this, in the email out.